Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya, Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya. Praises to Ahaya, Bahashem Yeshaya.
All praises. All praises. All praises. All I can say is all praises. Thank you for everyone for listening to my beautiful voice and my beautiful mug. Again, it's a pleasure to be on this wonderful stage once again with Aharon Yasharahla in current affairs. All praises to the Most High, to the big man upstairs. And I thank you once again, everyone, for helping me with this and through this, and for those listening to me. So, I always want to start this off by just thanking the Most High for everything that He's done for us in our lives every single day, for waking us up, putting us to sleep. We're not the ones who are doing this. We always think that we are. We think that we are in control, that we're in power. We're not. We're not. It's impossible for us to be in control, right? Just like CeeLo Green said, if you know that song that I'm speaking of. But anyway, let me jump right into the topics for tonight. Now, everyone knows our good old buddy, Bill Gates, right? You know, Bill and Melinda Gates. You know, Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft. And Bill Gates is, he's a computer guru, as we all know. But Bill Gates has been venturing off doing a plethora of things. He's been buying up a lot of farmland. He's been out here making different vaccines and things of that nature, and just trying to quote unquote just help the economy. But Coca-Cola, along with Pepsi and Microsoft, Bill Gates allegedly have signed a 5-year partnership, right? Now, with the use and the power of AI, nanotechnology has been found in both Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Now, one might ask, what is nanotechnology? Well, just think back to when you were kids, if you used to watch something like Transformers or something like that, and they would talk about nanobots, right? Well, this 5-year partnership is a $1.1 billion deal, again signed allegedly between Coca-Cola, Bill Gates, Pepsi, and Microsoft, right? And one would ask, why would they need nanotechnology in a soft drink, right? Right, here we go. Why would they need nanotechnology in a soft drink? Now, let me break this down for you, family. What nanotechnology actually is are nanobots, little microscopic robots that they have actually allegedly put in a soft drink, in a soda. And we already know, family, that soda is not good for us. It breaks us out. It breaks down our enamel in our teeth with all that sugar and other additives that they put in it. So here we go with Bill Gates doing something. So let me give you a little bit more information about this nanotechnology. Now, what can nanoparticles do to the brain, right? One might ask. Now, metallic nanoparticles can cause, now forgive me for pronunciation of these words, of these words here. Metallic nanoparticles can cause oxidative stress, inflammation, apoptosis, autophagy, and disturbed sensory motor signaling pathways. Either way, that sounds terrible. So it just basically sounds like, to me, it can cut off a lot of motor skills. Is basically what that does. Another name, of course, is nanorobotics or nanobots, which are small microscopic robots inside the human body. Now, of course, I try to relate everything that I speak of to the Bible in some form or fashion. So I did a little research, and I came up with a verse, a Bible verse. And if you go with me to the book of Ephesians, family, the book of Ephesians, chapter 5, and I'll pull it up on my phone here. The book of Ephesians, which is in the New Testament, chapter 5 and verse 6, which basically says, Let no man deceive you with vain words. I'm going to stop right there. The whole thing reads, let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of God upon the children of disobedience. Right? So I want to start touch on what it initially said. Let no man deceive you. So by people drinking, Coca-Cola and Pepsi. Now let me tell you, years ago when I was a kid, I prefer Pepsi over Coca-Cola. Now if you don't have a good palate, a good tongue, some good taste buds, they taste the same. But I think Pepsi is a little bit sweeter. So, back in the day, shalom, Ms. Jackson. Oh my gosh, yeah, road rage, yeah. I've seen a lot of things about road rage. But going back to when I was a kid, Pepsi was delicious. And it was a wonderful thing. I would go to my cousin's house and his mom drank nothing but Pepsi, a cold Pepsi. And if you touched her Pepsi, she would give you one. So that's what I have about Mr. Bill Gates, Coca-Cola, and Pepsi allegedly going on a partnership worth $1.1 billion, putting nanotechnology or nano robots into sodas. Okay, that's just one thing that I have. I have several things. All right. Now, family, I want us to, and we already know that drugs are not good for us, right? We know that drug use is not good, but I'm pretty sure that in most of our lives, somewhere we probably did some kind of drug, whether it was smoking tobacco, smoking Mary Jane, drinking some kind of alcohol, and nowadays they have, you know, uh, what is that? Vape. They have vape. So I run across this article, and like I said, I always get on Instagram and I just get lost. And I told you I got notes. I got notes. Um, so allegedly, there was this lady who said she has a friend who is a neurosurgeon out in California. And he said that these ecstasy pills, right? And we know someone in our family or a friend, he found out, he said that these ecstasy pills are laced with some kind of coating on the pills. And that people who take these pills in about 1 to 3 years, they actually develop Parkinson's. And what Parkinson's is that disease like Muhammad Ali had, when you just shaking, you just doing this uncontrollable shaking. And so they found three 14-year-olds with Parkinson's after they had take this laced ecstasy pill, and they were doing some violent shaking. It was just uncontrollable shaking. Now I know some people who have indulged in ecstasy, you know, um, and this was back in the day, you know what I mean? But I never saw anything like that where people take ecstasy. But nowadays, everything is changing because there is a plan for everyone on this earth to depopulate. So these things that I'm speaking of are allegedly to depopulate the earth, right? So stay away from drugs, stay away from this ecstasy it is laced with some kind of coating on the ecstasy pills and is causing people to have violent shakes and develop Parkinson's. Now, allegedly, this neurosurgeon said that these pills come from China, which is not a surprise because it seems like a lot of these bad things come from China. Allegedly, uh, allegedly, like that COVID, right? Allegedly said that COVID came from China originally. And what I found out during this investigation, family, is that they're actually targeting the next generation, right? The youth, because it's all about the children, because the children nowadays they're not they're not raised right, right? They're not raised right, so they do what they want to do, as the scriptures say. It'd be the children running the household. It'd be the children. The children will be running the parents, is what the scripture says. So with this laced ecstasy pill, we just need to be careful and just tell our people, just stay away from these things. You know what I mean? It'd be hard, especially if they've been using it for a while. Also, allegedly, this neurosurgeon said that drugs like cocaine and other drugs will be laced with or are laced with fentanyl. But you can find most of this stuff they were speaking of in California. is what this neurosurgeon was saying. Allegedly, you find these things in California. Now, he also said that this was on a rise over 100,000%. Can you believe that? Not just 100% or 1,000%. He said 100,000% is what this neurosurgeon said. Now, a bad thing about using drugs, and I didn't know this until today, that we all know what that Narcan is. When a person overdoses and they hit them with that Narcan and they just and they come back, right? Well, I didn't know until a few hours ago that if you're under 18, you can't take Narcan. They can't administer that to you. So imagine all these babies that are out here and they overdose on this ecstasy, allegedly, because it has an alleged coating of some kind on it. And they, you know, or 1 to 3 years from now, they start this, they get this jerk, and it's Parkinson's. And can you imagine a 17-year-old with Parkinson's? I mean, what's really going on? What's really going on in this world? I mean, as Christ said, let no man deceive you. That's all I can really go back to on this one, because that's deceit. That's deceit to the fullest. But first of all, we should not be doing any drugs. First and foremost, right? The scriptures tell us that if we are going to partake in spirits, do not partake in those spirits and get drunk. Just have a little bit, to unwind. But don't get to the point to where God, you're slurring, and then you're getting sloppy and you're stumbling in the same spot. Don't get like that. That's not what the Most High wants from us. Because again, because our bodies are temples, and we have to keep these bodies preserved as long as possible. We don't want any premature deaths. So let's spread the word, family, and people that we do know, people that we do love, even the ones that we don't love their enemy, right? We got to spread the word. We got to spread the word and just try to instill it in them, and they'll retort back to us saying, "Why are you judging me?" Well, it's really not judging. If you don't do it, it's not judging. It's just telling you to, when you know better, you do better. And that's all of this is about. So let's stay away from drugs, especially these ecstasy pills. I hope no one in our family is doing that. Right? Now, moving right along, you all. I stumbled across this lady, right? Who they call her the toxic tush doctor, or O'Neil Morris. Miss O'Neil Morris, aka Toxic Tush Doctor. She is an imposter doctor, right? Who was offering fake and cheap cosmetic surgeries to people. Oh my gosh! All right, so I ran across this. I ran across it a little while ago, but since we really have just getting back, there are so many stories that I want to bring back. So I'm looking at this lady, Miss O'Neil Morris, right? And Miss Morris, for her to say that she's a cosmetic doctor, she does not look as shapely as you think she would. She's not obese in the natural obese manner, but she looks like she, uh, for lack of a better word, deformed from her own doing to herself from this cheap cosmetic fake surgeries. So, getting right to the point, Miss O'Neil Morris is a fake cosmetic doctor from Florida who misled over 30 patients in her deceit, right? She told women that she used medical grade silicone when she did these surgeries, when in fact, check this out, y'all. Shalom, shalom. She was not using medical grade silicone at all to do these surgeries, right? But she was using actually tire sealant, rubber cement, and super glue and mineral oil. Telling people that she was using silicone, and she actually was using tire sealant, rubber cement, super glue, and mineral oil. And she was misleading her clients, women, in these cosmetic surgeries. As a matter of fact, there is one lady, right, who went to Miss O'Neil over 10 times getting things done. I'm sorry. Hey, how y'all doing out there? Yeah, that's bad. That's real bad. So this lady went to. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm chuckling, but this lady went to Miss O'Neill Harris 3 times. Morris 3 times. And when I saw this lady, I don't know her name. She didn't look good at all. You know, she didn't look good at all. So let me read my notes here. So the lady in question, who got the 10 surgeries from Miss O'Neill Morris, they called her face because her fillers hardened just like cement, but in fact it was cement. So they gave her the nickname Cement Face. But it's all her own fault because you go to this person 10 times, you didn't learn your lesson after the first time. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Come on now, come on now. I mean, this is we gotta we gotta be, as the Most High said, we gotta be as smart as serpents. But clearly, this lady was not. She just really, I guess, she was depressed going back that many times, not satisfied. But so anyway, this lady misled 30 women, and after one person had died, now all of them got sick, but one person passed away, and this actually led to Miss O'Neill's um, getting caught, going to jail. But the crazy thing, y'all, now when she did get caught, she got sentenced to 10 years, but she was already previously locked up for the same thing, which was medical malpractice. You know, misleading people to think that she had a license to do healthcare, which she did not. I mean, come on, y'all. This lady was using tire sealant, rubber cement, super glue, and mineral oil in people's bodies. Now, how demonic can that be? How I mean, how did she even get this idea to even do that? And then she would, however she did it, she clearly put this stuff in this lady's face for her to be dubbed Cement Face. I mean, come on, man. And yo, she looked crazy. And you can't make this up. You can look this up, as you already know. Her name is AKA Toxic Tush Doctor, or Miss O'Neill Morris. You can look her up. And she deceived over 30 people. One died. They all got sick. Luckily, only one person died. They all got sick, but I don't know, how bad off they are now. Yeah, it's yeah, Cement Face. Hey, Daff, nice to see you out there. But yeah, Cement Face. That's crazy. But I'm sorry. It's pretty funny to me. I'm sorry. Anyway, moving right along, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'm going to start this next one off with Matthew 26 and 11. Right? If you would go with me to the scriptures, Matthew 26 and verse 11, which is in the New Testament, for those who don't know. And I'll read this very quickly here. For ye have the poor always with you, but me have ye not always. Now, I had to preface this next story with that. This next story is actually called Pag Pag. Pag Pag. Pagpag. And it actually is derived in the Philippines, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and just read what I wrote out because this is, y'all, it's sad. It's sad. In the poor area of the Philippines, there's a unique food called Pag Pag. Pagpag. Pag Pag is one of the hardest foods to swallow. Around 3 a.m. in the morning, local residents go out and search for leftovers in kitchens and in the garbage, right? Now, what they go and do, they actually separate the vegetables that they find in the garbage and chicken for processing, and the vegetables are used to feed pigs. Meanwhile, the meat becomes food for humans, right? Can you imagine that you're so poor that you're literally going to the trash and finding scraps to eat? That's basically what this Pag Pag is, right? So uh so what they do after they find the chicken that they're going to use for the human food to feed themselves, they go ahead and they saute this up now. They cooking it up. Whip it, whip it, whip it. They go ahead and add onions, garlic, and other spices to cover up the bad odor. the bad odor that this food is giving off, or this old nasty food is giving off, and they stew it over a slow heat, right? So they go in to leftover kitchens, the garbage in the kitchens. They go to the garbage at the dump, and they find leftover vegetables and leftover chicken. The leftover vegetables they feed their pigs with, and then the meat they actually get to the humans. Why could it be the other way around? So it could be a little bit less harmful. Yeah, yeah, Rich. Yes, that's gross. But so check this out now. Now for societies to be living like that, that has to be the lowest of the low, the poorest of the poor, which they actually are. And they make this pag, and they sell it for 50 cents, a portion for 50 cents, right? Now, they consider this a delicacy, this pag, because they've been so poor, they've been doing this since the 1990s. That's when the Philippines, in that area became that poor in the 1990s. So we already know what tribe we're talking about. That we're talking about one of the 12 tribes. We already know that because they're poor, eating pag. Can you imagine that? We see every day, walking around, driving around. We see the poor getting into dumpsters. They might find like a piece of a bitten off sandwich, but I don't see them whipping it up. And it's so detestful, you all, that you know the Philippines government has outlawed it. You know what I mean? They've outlawed it because it causes diseases. So this food has been outlawed by the Philippines government because it has an enormous risk of bacteria. Of course, you get it out the trash, and it has caused many diseases. So if you ever travel abroad and you find yourself in the Philippines, beware. You might be eating some pag. All right, you don't want to be eating no pag. You know, I mean, listen, and that's why I had to preface this with Matthew 26:11. The poor is always going to be amongst us, and we see this today. We see this today. Look at who they let over here. These illegals, right? Most of them are poor, and that's why they give them all this money. But some of them are still on the streets. So the poor will always be amongst us. So you know, I can't imagine that though. I can't imagine being so hungry. But listen, we all know a famine is coming, right? We all know this famine is coming, and history repeats itself. And so we all know it's coming. So we just got to be prepared. Just let's just try not to prepare ourselves with some pag. I'm trying to make light of it. But it's a sad situation, really, for a people to be lowered to such for lack of a better word, demented state that they're eating, and it is a demented state because they're eating pag. It's a sad thing, you all. It's a sad thing. So moving right along, uh, ladies and gentlemen, family. And we all know that there are all kind of nasty people on this earth, right? All kind of nasty people on this earth. So us people of color, we're used to we should have thick skin by now when people calling us names, right? Which leads me to a judge by the name of Kathleen Ryan, a judge named Kathleen Ryan, and allegedly, ladies and gentlemen, uh, Miss Kathleen Ryan has been recorded saying some how Mr. Bill Cosby used to say filth, flarn, filth. So Judge Kathleen Ryan is a Michigan judge who was recorded calling Black Americans the F word, effing lazy pieces of sugar honey iced tea, while also quoting, allegedly, she said this: "I'm not, systemically racist. I'm new racist." Whatever that means. She said that she's not systemically racist. She's new racist. Well, shalom, shalom, brother. How you doing? I mean, racist is racist. You're sitting up here as a person of as a judge, and you're calling people out of their names. So let me go ahead and read the notes that I have you all. A judge. She was a judge for 13 years in Oakland County, in the she was the chief probate court, right? And her name is Judge, or used to be Judge Kathleen Ryan. And there was another judge named Linda Hallmark who actually removed Miss Ryan on August 27th, announcing a complaint regarding internal allegations of unprofessional conduct. So that is an egregious move when you have a person of her caliber in a judgment seat, and she is just spewing out the racism. Now we know that most of them most likely are, and that's why they got these seats, these power positions, you know, because they are in that capacity are able to hide their racism. But in this instance, she was not. I guess she was just fed up, And then when I was doing the research to it, she was when she said that uh, she was calling Black Americans lazy pieces of what. Only if you're a Black American. If you're black somewhere else, you're not a lazy piece of what. You may be good for something. But I mean, how demented is she in her thinking, in her thought process? But I'm glad they got rid of that. As the old saying goes, good riddance to bad rubbish. And she was some bad rubbish. Again, her name is former Judge Kathleen Ryan. And I'm glad they actually got the audio recordings. They gave these recordings to um, there were 7 different investigators investigating this lady over a period of time. And she was on the judgment seat for 13 years, right? So Judge Kathleen Ryan, I mean, wow. I mean, just kicking people when they down, She make a judgment against somebody and then curse them out. Like, how does that even work? How does that even work, y'all? So let me just go ahead and recap before I go to a few other things that I have. I started off with Coca-Cola, Bill Gates, Microsoft, and Pepsi all allegedly signing a 5-year partnership with a $1.1 billion deal in which they actually put nanobots into the soda, allegedly. Okay? Nanobots are microscopic robots that will get into your body and do things to your body. Doesn't that sound familiar? Like the vaccine, that mRNA thing that they were trying to get to people or gave to people, right? So then, ladies and gentlemen, I also talked about stop using drugs, in which a neurosurgeon in California was saying that there were some ecstasy pills in California, amongst other places, that were laced with something. Didn't expound on what that something was, but he did say that in 1 to 3 years, that people who took these certain ecstasy pills within the past, I want to say 2 years, if I'm not mistaken, have come up with Parkinson's disease, which is that disease that makes you shake violently, like Muhammad Ali, or that guy that was on that sitcom years ago that played Back to the Future. He got Parkinson's as well, but that is ecstasy. I thought ecstasy was a drug to make people feel good, but apparently it's not. It's a drug to make you shake up and down. So stay away. If you know someone who's using ecstasy, tell them to get off of it, because it's laced with something of that we don't know. I also just mentioned uh, fake Dr. O'Neil Morris, aka Toxic Tush Doctor. And what she was doing was she told over 30 women that she was a doctor. She could do some cosmetic surgeries on them. And instead of putting silicone in these ladies' bodies, what she did was she laced them up with tire sealant, rubber cement, super glue, and mineral oil. And she did it so many times. There's one lady in particular who went to her over 10 times, and she is now dubbed Cement Face. can't make this stuff up, right? You can't make this stuff up. So now I just I just mentioned that food called pag pag, in which in the Philippines, our brothers and sisters over there are so poor that they have no choice because they don't have any money. Up there in the Philippines, there's no upper class, middle class, and poor. There is just poor and upper class. So all they have is just the leftover food that's been thrown away. They have to go and dig out. They get the vegetables and they get the chicken. They serve the vegetables to their pigs and take the old chicken meat and do it like refried beans and cook it back up and they eat it. They sell it and eat it, which is a grotesque thing to do because there's bacteria in it and sitting in that trash for who knows how long, and all kind of diseases. Um, and the last thing I just mentioned was Miss Judge Kathleen Ryan, right? In which she was just calling people out of their names and just cursing at people, and she was on the Oakland County probate court for 13 years, and I guess she just got fed up at looking at black folks, people of color, and she just started talking out the side of her neck. And she was recorded saying things like these effing lazy pieces of sugar honey iced tea, while also saying that she's not systemically racist, she's a new racist. So whatever that means, racism is racism. Just like our guy back in the day said, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere, right? So I'm glad that they got her out of that seat, and she is a former judge. Now, moving along to other things that I do have. Now, y'all heard of Wells Fargo, right? We have all heard of Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is a bank, okay? Now, I ran across this Wells Fargo deal while I was doing some research. And I'm bringing this out because the hearts of men have waxed cold. So before I even start that, let me go with me here to Matthew 24 and 12, right? I actually have to preface this with this. Matthew 24, chapter 24 and verse 12. And it says, "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." Right? I'll read that again. Matthew 24 and 12. "And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold." I also have 2 Timothy in the New Testament, the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3, verse 2 through 4, right? Which reads, chapter 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2 through 4, which reads, "For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God." Now I had to read that, and that is very powerful because going back to my this point that I'm making here with Wells Fargo, there was a Wells Fargo employee by the name of Denise Prudhomme. Denise Prudhomme. Miss Denise Prudhomme was 60 years old, a 60-year-old employee of Wells Fargo. And, I'm pretty sure she had a decent job. And back in August 20th, Miss Prudhomme was found dead in her cubicle, right? Now, at some point, we're all going to die. We don't know when we're going to die or where we're going to die, nor how we're going to die, right? But what brought my attention to this story is that she actually was dead in her cubicle. It shows here you see here, let me read my notes here. She was dead in that cubicle for 4 days. Now, what tripped me out is that the employees said that they smelled something, but they thought it was a plumbing issue. And that really just pissed me off because you're in a cubicle, and many of us have had jobs where we sit in cubicles, and all you got to do if something is stinky or something is different, all you got to do is stand up and look over the cubicle and see what's going on. So what that tells me is that, again, the hearts of men have waxed cold. But it also tells me that the people that Miss Denise Prudhomme worked around were young folks. There's no way possible they could have been around her age, nor my age, and I'm in my 40s, right? No way possible. So I think that these people were her coworkers had to be Gen Zers or millennials, going back to the scriptures I just read, lovers of selves, the hearts of men have waxed cold. Because how on earth, if a lady had died in a cubicle and been dead for 4 days, no one found her? No one cared? And then as I'm reading the article, Wells Fargo says she worked in an area that was kind of secluded. Come on, man. Come on. So reading my notes here, it says that they found her dead on August 20th, and this happened in Tempe, Arizona. And it was some firemen who confirmed her dead at 4:45 on August 20th, but they saw no signs of foul play initially. So they're still doing an investigation on how she died. Hopefully, I can find out that information and in the near future get that to you, unless you do the research yourselves. Um, but what struck me as odd is that her coworkers said they thought it was a plumbing issue. Come on, now we know poop. We know what poop smells like. But when you have a body that's been dead for 4 days and there's a foul, malicious odor coming off of it, and that's something different. That's something different. That's not just a poop smell. But no one took the initiative to find out what it was, and not even the co her boss. She didn't have to report to nobody for 4 days. Y'all, this world is crazy. This world is crazy. And you know what? If I'm not mistaken, Wells Fargo took over. I think it was Wachovia. They bought them out, and I didn't really care for Wachovia anyway. But when Wells Fargo came aboard, me and my wife, we withdrew our money and closed that account. I didn't like Wells Fargo, and look at what's going on. You got a dead body in there for 4 days. That's a joke. That's a joke. How do you say? Are you kidding me? But again, family, you can't make this stuff up. You really, really can't make this stuff up. Now, I do have another story for you all. I have another story for you all. Now, y'all remember, y'all heard of Mr. Warren Buffett, right? Mr. Warren Buffett, one of the moguls who has a lot of money, who does a lot of investments and teaches people how or tells people how to invest. Well, Mr. Warren Buffett, he's usually buying up all kind of stocks and things of that nature, but lately he's been doing the opposite. Mr. Warren Buffett, 981 million shares of Bank of America allegedly. But if this is true, then why is he selling his shares? Not only that, he has also sold $4.9 billion of Berkshire Hathaway company, right? Now, if we remember and we know our history, okay, Maureen, so you did hear about that. Yeah, about the lady down in the cubicle. Just backing up a second, y'all. Yeah, I'm glad someone is doing the due diligence. But moving back to Mr. Warren Buffett, y'all remember that lady who did the same thing some years ago, Miss Martha Stewart? Didn't she sell some shares and didn't she go to jail? Because after she sold some stuff, like didn't we have a crash all of a sudden? But she went to jail, and they said like she had some inside information. But as we said the joke years ago when she did that, she just had to hook up. She had inside information. But now Let's once something happens, because I think something's going to happen since uh, Mr. Warren Buffett is selling all kind of shares of everything. No one just starts to sell something if they don't know something. As the saying goes, if you know better, you do better. And it sounds like he's trying to cash out, get out while the getting is good. So something definitely, y'all, is about to happen with Mr. Warren Buffett going to sell an enormous amount of shares. So let me see what he let me write. Let me read some of these things down that I wrote down. So one of my questions again, why is he selling everything? Now if now will he go to jail if there's a crash after this? Do y'all think he'll go to jail? Like like Martha Stewart did? I don't think he will. I don't think he will. Because money talks. And if you got enough money, you can fight just about anything. Right? Um, so Mr. Buffett has sold more stock than he bought for Berkshire in each of the last 7 quarters. What does he know, y'all? He has to know something. Yeah, I believe the market is about to tank too. It's too much going on right now. And then we have the feds. For what I understand, the feds are going to lower the interest rates coming this month. Supposedly, allegedly on the 18th, from what I've been hearing the buzz on social media news. So you're absolutely right, sis. We have this economy. Something is about to happen. Something is about to happen very bad to this economy that, worse than what we have seen thus far. Worse than what we've seen thus far. Mr. Warren Buffett, y'all. So we need to take, I don't think any one of us has millions and millions and millions of stock like Mr. Buffett. Oh, yeah. Well, you say he's untouchable, but ain't nobody untouchable, at least not right now. Well, he might be untouchable at the moment, but he'll get his too. The Most High don't like ugly, and that's ugly. You know, but he'll get his too. Um, so we will see what's going on real soon with Mr. Buffett making that play that he made. He's up there playing chess because he knows what's going on. He might be the one who's running uh, Wall Street. He might be one of them who's running Wall Street. You know, so we just got to watch these things and see what's going on and see what moves we can make. You know what I mean? Even if it's subtle moves to help us out, but we got to stay diligent and keep up on affairs like this so we can see what we need to do. But most of all, family, we got to stay prayed up and keep the whole armor of the Most High on. So I do have an FYI, family, because I want us to stay healthy as long as we can. And I have an FYI for a liver cleanse, right? For your information. So if anyone is looking for a liver cleanse, and there's so many cleanses out there, but I just ran across this because I'm trying to get back into what I was doing not too long ago and giving FYIs and updates on different things. So if you take 4 stalks of celery, a piece of ginger, 1 green apple, and 1 lemon, the juice of the lemon, you cut all of that up, but that lemon you want to use the juice from that, but you cut up the celery, the ginger, and the green apple for taste or whatever flavor, and you blend all of that with a half a liter of H2O, and you drink it 1 time a day. Right now, you might want to strain it if it's a little thick. If it's a little thick, you might want to strain it with a strainer, and you drink that 1 time a day. That is good for liver cleanse. Good for liver cleanse. I'm going to try that myself because I'm getting older. I'm also going to do a kidney cleanse as well. I should have mentioned a kidney cleanse, but we're people of the Most High. I know I'm pretty sure that we have all kind of cleanses in our homes that we are taking already. Another cleanse that we can take that you can get with me on CMOS. For those who don't know, now you know. I have CMOS juice, I have CMOS pills, I have CMOS gel. And yes, you can hit me up and you can purchase that as well, which is good for the gut health. But I did want to bring that out to you as far as the liver cleanse. You take 4 stalks of celery, some ginger, a green apple for taste, and the juice of a lemon. Get all that chopped up. Get that lemon in there. That juice get in there, squeezing up real good. Blend it up with a half a liter of water, or however much water you think you need. Strain it if it's too thick, and you drink that one time a day. Right now, if you eating bad, and if you eating bad, it's gonna do more than just a liver cleanse. It's gonna clean out that gut too. I'm telling you, it's gonna clean out that gut too. And a lot of us need a gut cleanse. We all can benefit from a gut cleanse. All praises. Thank you. All praises. Yeah, that sea moss juice is. I tell you this, family. If those who haven't tried it, I can tell when I don't take it, especially if I go days without taking it. Oh my gosh, it's something to contend with. It really, really is. But just recapping the things I did speak about, ladies and gentlemen, family. The first thing I spoke about was Mr. Bill Gates teaming up with Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Microsoft, and allegedly doing a 5-year partnership using the power of AI and nanotechnology, a $1.1 billion deal in which they put nanotechnology in these products, in both allegedly in both Coca-Cola and Pepsi. We already know that soda is not good for us. It decays our teeth. It eats at the enamel of our teeth, right? And gives us acne. So I also mentioned you all to stop using drugs. We shouldn't be using drugs anyway. That a neurosurgeon in California said that in California and other places, but mostly in California, that some ecstasy pills have been found with some kind of a film on them, laced with something. And for those who take it, eventually, maybe a year to 3 years later, they will develop Parkinson's disease, that disease that Muhammad Ali had, uncontrollable shaking. And they're finding this, that these 14-year-old children are taking this ecstasy. So in 1 to 3 years, what they 17, no older than 17, 18, depends on how quickly it sets in on them. And can you imagine your son or your daughter at that age got Parkinson's, and you thought they still had their whole life ahead of them? Now you're looking at, you got to take care of them the rest of their life, in which you thought they were going to be taking care of you when you got older. Jokes on us. Miss O'Neill Morris, the AKA toxic tush doctor, the doctor who the fake doctor who did cheap cosmetic surgeries on over 30 women in Florida. She had 30 patients, and she actually killed one, and all of them got sick. All the other ones got sick. There was one lady who went to her over 10 times. Joke on her. And instead of using silicone, family, she used tire sealant, rubber cement, super glue, and mineral oil, and put in these people's bodies. Come on, let no man deceive you. And she deceived people, but they sentenced her to 10 years in prison. But what's crazy, she went to jail for this before. Like, come on, y'all. When will people learn? When will people learn? Uh, I also mentioned Pag Pag. Pag Pag is a Pag Pag is a Pag Pag is a nasty food that our people in the Philippines are doing. They are jumping into the garbage anywhere, and they're retrieving vegetables. They're retrieving chicken. They're cooking the chicken up, feeding it to our people over there. Yes, it's our people, part of the 12 tribes, right? And what they're doing allegedly is taking the chicken out, feeding it to our people, but the vegetables they're giving it to their pigs. They're cooking it up and they're eating it. And these people are very poor, and they're selling it for 50 cents per portion, because over there's no middle class. It's only poor and rich. And so they have no choice because they have no food, but it causes all kind of diseases, and not to mention bacteria, right? So I also mentioned Judge Kathleen Ryan, who was removed as a judge after 13 years in Oakley County as a chief probate judge. She was removed on August 27th by another judge named Linda Hallmark, and she had all kind of filth, floor, and filth to say about our people, saying that black folks is nothing but some effing lazy pieces of you know what, and that she said that she's a new racist. She's not a systemic racist. She's a new racist, whatever that means. I mean, this is wild. Then we have Wells Fargo, in which um, Miss Denise Prudhomme died, a 60-year-old employee in Wells Fargo was dead for 4 days in her cubicle, in which no one checked on this older woman, right? And just thought it was a plumbing issue. Meanwhile, neither the higher ups checked on her. But I'm pretty sure she had to report to somebody, and they came in and they found her 4 days later. The firemen declared her dead about 4:45 p.m. on August 20th, but they didn't see any signs of foul play when they initially. But right now it's still being investigated unless they found something out at this point. Yes, the hearts of men have waxed cold, Rich. The hearts of men have waxed cold, and we also have a Mr. Warren Buffett. Mr. Warren Buffett has just dumped a lot of assets that he had that he was um, pull this up here. Mr. Warren Buffett was just selling things left and right. He sold 981 million shares of Bank of America. He sold 4.9 billion shares of Berkshire Hathaway, right? Which is no one does that. No one just when people start to sell things, they sell things in small increments, especially if you have such large increments like that, because they want to be empowered. They want to be in control. Especially a man of Esau's caliber, right? Caliber. Something is about to go down. So we need to remember Martha Stewart. She did the same thing. She heard something. She tried to get out, and she went to jail. Let's see if the same thing happens to this man. But as they say, it's a man's world. We'll see. We'll see if anything happens to these people. So that is what I had to speak to everyone tonight about on current affairs with Aharon Yasharahla. And you know, as always, you all, as I always say, let's stay prayed up. Let's love our enemy, pray for our enemy, love our neighbor. Easier said than done. Uh, check on the elderly, right? As the scriptures say, we got to do all these things because we want to make it to Zion, right? And so we have to change our ways. But the scriptures tell us it takes a lifetime to become perfect. And all praises, all praises. Elan Debar, you're welcome. It takes a lifetime to become perfect, as the scriptures tell us. And it it scares me because I didn't come into this truth of Christ until a few years ago, right? And when I say truth of Christ, I don't mean in the Baptist traditional church. I mean in this truth of Christ. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And where he pulled the wool of he pulled the wool from our eyes, and now we can see, right? But it kind of scares me when the scriptures say that it takes a lifetime for a person to become perfect. So we have that much more work to do now in this day and age than our ancestors had to do, because we had people like Enoch, where the Most High took him. We had people like Elijah, the Most High took them. Yes, tabernacles. You know what, family? This is gonna be my first. It's gonna be my first. I'm excited. I'm very. Hey, listen. This is my first one. I've been camping since I was a kid, and my wife she ain't never been camping, so this is gonna be an experience. I can't wait. Oh my gosh! I'll praise it to the Most High. Um, but again, y'all, all praise to the Most High for giving us eyes to see and ears to hear. But again, let's stay prayed up and check on our neighbor, check on each other, love each other, call each other once in a while, text each other. Let's see what's going on, so that way we can just stay one with the body. You know what I mean? Day of Atonement is upon us, and we got to make things right. We got to make our hearts right, and it's not always easy to come out and say things that is eating Gilbert grape. But alas, we have to, because the Most High knows who's eating us. But as Christ said, the truth will set us free, right? So, with that said, y'all, I hope you all continue to chime in week after week, uh, and listen to me. I will be bringing bigger and better things week after week. Each current event will be uh, better than the next. And oh, I got some information today, y'all, that I am going to bring out. It won't be next week because of Tabernacles. Um, but the week after, I got some information, you all, about our ancestors and how we had. I'll give you a little inside information. You know, is anyone in their family has ever owned over 500 acres of land? My family has. I didn't know that until recently, but I just got some information from one of our brothers in the church, and he was talking about the same kind of thing. I have to open up and read it, but we had a lot of stuff. We had a lot of land. Some of our ancestors did have 40 acres and a mule, and they took it back. So I'm going to bring that out. I have some information about that, and it's going to be a wonderful thing to talk about because, just like they said in the scriptures and Psalms, come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel will be no longer in remembrance. They did that to us. We didn't know Israel. We knew Africa. Now we're getting back to Israel or Yasharahla, whatever tongue you're speaking it in, right? So, and they made us forget that our ancestors had some land here in the States. So with that said, I'm going to be bringing that out among some other things. Y'all remember I had a saying of the day when I came on, um, but my brother from the same brother, he asked me that tonight, but I just didn't have one. Couldn't think of one. Got so much going on. But again, you all, I want to thank you with my whole heart for listening to me. And yes, sir, I want to thank you for looking at me. I hope I'm a sight for sore eyes. But again, I want to thank you all. Stay prayed up. Put the Most High first. Love yourself, and I will see you next time. Shalom, shalom. Y'all have a great and blessed night. Love you all.